Well, greetings everyone. This is Dr. Gabrielides, and the date is October 2013. Today I'd like to ask and answer the question, what is holistic health? Holistic health, of course, encompasses the full experience of being. Holistic health concerns itself with what we eat, what we think, with what we say, with what we do, even with what we imagine. The imagination that we have in our heart, what we imagine. People sometimes ask me, Dr. G, what made you choose to be a holistic nutritionist? And why are you so passionate about it? Because I am. Well, for that we'll have to go back to when I was 21, serving in the South African military forces against my will. I was a non-combatant in the deserts of Namibia, where I was working as a medic, seeing that I refused to carry a weapon and be a pawn of the South African apartheid government and kill people as a non-combatant. They trained me to be a medic in the hospital. So one day in comes this 6'2" giant of a man, a fellow soldier, in the hospital in a full panic attack. Man, we calmed him down. The doctors gave him sedatives, etc. And when he finally was able to converse, I'm 5'7", not a 6'2" giant. So I wondered, why would this big, strong man in the prime of his youth be afraid? Why would he have panic and anxiety attacks? So I asked him, I said, say, what's the deal? What are you afraid of? So he looked at me with rather fearful eyes and a bit of anxiety and says, I can't stand the open spaces. Later in my studies, etc., I was to learn that the term for this illness is agoraphobia, the fear of open spaces. I said, what? Are you crazy? I love open spaces. Give me open spaces any day. To cramped cities made from concrete, restricting you. No, he says, I don't like that. So I said, what do you do in civilian life? He says to me, I'm a bus driver. I like that, he says. In the city of Johannesburg, I drive my bus. I know where I am, surrounded with people. So I thought, this is strange. Here I am, a small man in stature compared to him. And I spend countless days in the deserts alone with friends at night, surrounded by wild animals, hearing lions growling around us, being chased by elephants. You name it, we've done it in the wilds of Africa, another of my deep passions. And I loved it. It was my element. Now why would this big, strong man, 6'2", be afraid? I thought, I want to know. I want to study this. This looks like an interesting profession to pursue. The mind, the body, the spirit. Triad, which we call the human experience. So there are yogis, of course, who can swallow poison and be none the worse for it. Now please, I'm not interested in swallowing poison, but holistic nutrition is interested in how can a mere human being swallow poison and be none the worse for it? Of course, these yogis receive intensive training, decades. The proverbial being in a cave in India and standing on one leg for 20 years type of thing, okay? So please, don't try it. I'm not interested in swallowing a poison, but I'm very passionate about staying young and healthy, which is what holistic nutrition is about, one aspect of it. I'm passionate about being happy and enjoying peace of mind. I'm passionate about enjoying life in all its many, many hues and colors. I'm passionate about capturing as much of that joie de vivre the French speak of, okay? Yes, give me more of this joie de vivre. A phrase, of course, often used to connote or express a cheerful enjoyment of life, an exaltation of spirit. Yes, I'm interested in saying yes to that. I'm interested in saying yes to life. What's the alternative, my friends? To say no? Where are we then? And believe me, I have not led a charmed life. There have been periods in my life where I wanted to exit this earth plane, to end it all. Sure, periods of deep depression, despair, and disappointment. But somehow, I've always surrounded myself with great teachers in the form of books they've written and in person. Go and listen to them when they were in town. The Wayne Dyers and people of that genre, you bet, who were able, via their books and in person, to shine a light for me to emerge from the deep dark forest I sometimes find myself in. Yes, sometimes you need that help. Once I was so in such a despair, I went to a good friend of mine and said, I can't even think. He says, don't worry, Pan. I will think for you. And he did for a few days. It was wonderful. His advice worked wonders. I think of that often and I laugh, and I'm grateful to that friend. Yes, I lost my wife to cancer. This occurred some years after our divorce, but I still loved her, still do, beyond measure. We lost my first grandchild to murder. My friends, I know about pain. Sans consolation, as the French would say again. Pain without consolation. Darkness, despair without consolation. Yes, I know about that. Somehow though, one day, the tears stop and you begin to look at the beauty of the sun again. You begin to focus on loving your children, and life goes on again. So, on this site, I want to explore the full gamut of the human experience as much as is possible through the lenses we have available to us. In my case, seeing that this is my site, build your site. I will use my lenses. Obviously, can't use anyone else's lenses. I will try to refer to other experts where it is apropos and appropriate. Sure. But every single one of us is an expert, is a genius, wondrously unique. So each and every one of us contributes their inimitable genius to our world, gracing it with love, with peace, with beauty. My friends, that's my invitation to you all. Use your genius within you to grace the world with love, with peace, with beauty. I love you all.